Hi, everybody. John Younger, Assisted Living Locators, here 5 minutes with Tammy Pozerycki. Hey, Tammy.
Good morning.
How you doing today? Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for having me. This is great.
So, Tammy, why don't you tell us about alternatives in Alzheimer's care?
Sure. So I have been a dementia specialist for quite some time now. I've been in the healthcare field for about 24 years, and I started out as a social worker working in long-term care. And so for all of those 24 years, I have been working with people living with dementia, working with them, their families, and other healthcare professionals. Um, so my journey was that my grandmother had Alzheimer's, which
Mm,
gave me a unique perspective from the family's point of view and from loved ones versus being the social worker directing the care and supporting and educating. So it's been it was a wonderful platform for me to be able to then sort of guide myself through what I really wanted to do, which was work with people living with dementia. That was specifically my goal and always has been to improve the quality of life for someone living with dementia.
great.
So in 2008, I actually founded Pleasant Trees Adult Day Services, which was a home, a residential home, and I converted it into a specialized memory care social model day program, which I ran for 10 years. So people would come every day to just engage and be social and have some purpose and meaning. And I sold that in 2018, which it is now continuing to run as Better Day Adult Day program. And I needed just a shift, and my shift was to really help healthcare professionals do it better. The person living with dementia and their quality of day depends on the level of education their care partner has. And are they able to best communicate with that individual? Are they best able to connect with them to really build trust? So, what alternatives in Alzheimer's care is now is a training and consulting business. So,
Okay.
I am providing credentialing training, staff education specializing in dementia, and also CEU programs, but then I'm also doing consulting work, and I tend to really enjoy that because that takes me into situations that are challenging,
Right.
and I have to help whomever has hired me to figure out what the best plan is. Sometimes it's as simple as program development and implementation, or other times I'm working with a family as a consultant to figure out, we've really have some, whether it's behavioral issues or plan of care issues. And when the need arises, I will field out to other healthcare professionals like elder law attorneys and
Hmm.
folks like yourself, where it's not my expertise. My expertise is simply working to uh, a, within the realm of dementia care.
Right.
So,
It's almost the consulting part I understand because that's kind of what I do. And that it's you're a detective, you're a teacher, you're an educator. You're pulling from all different areas of your world to help these folks out. And I think what you do is great. I have attended several of your presentations, and I always learn something from you, Tammy, and I
oh,
appreciate that.
thanks.
But
And I have other professionals whom I've taught who will say to me, "I want to do what you do.
yeah,
How do I do what you do?" And I said, "Well, get about 24 years under your belt working with people living with dementia,
yeah,
because yes, I can learn from books and my degree and all that, but you really, in for this type of specialty, you because I'm consistently learning.
Right.
Every time I do a training and I have healthcare professionals participating, I learn something new every single time. I do an all-day seminar. That is a seminar through the National Council of Certified Dementia Practitioners. And that's it's not my curriculum, it's their curriculum, but I am a trainer for them. So
Right.
people can take my course and apply to become a certified dementia practitioner. So when I tell you I've had every discipline in healthcare take this course, it's been fabulous. So I've learned. And sometimes I can use other people's experiences and stories and incorporate them into what I do. So I think it's a win-win when it comes to what I do.
Right, right. Are you finding more and more professionals coming to you for that type of education because of the aging population as opposed to maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
Yes, absolutely. What's wonderful is Massachusetts is one of the first states to implement a law. So Governor Baker created a law that mandates that every physician, every nurse practitioner and physician assistant have dementia training
Oh,
prior to the next time they renew their license. And he's also mandated that every acute care hospital in the state has to have hospital-wide training and also has to submit a plan of how they're going to best care for their patients who have dementia, which is phenomenal. So there is some mandate behind it, but also when you know better, you're going to do better. And I think people who are in this field are there for a reason. They have
of
the
course.
heart,
Yeah.
they want to care, they want to do good, but what they do know that that dementia poses an exceptional challenge to what they do. Not everybody is meant to work with people living with dementia.
Right.
There's this term we used called a fiblet.
You're
And
right.
a fiblet is a therapeutic intervention we use, which is really a non-truth, um, which we have to do in terms of reassuring the person, because the person living with dementia is maybe living their own reality in a delusional state. And if we are to think, oh well, we're going to correct them and we're going to get them to understand the real reality, all we do is just create negative feelings. So the
Right.
fibleting comes into place to say, yes, I'm validating you and I'm hearing you, I'm understanding you, and I'm entering your reality,
Right.
making it easier for both the care partner and the person living with dementia. So the healthcare professionals who need to communicate need to know this stuff. And I think there's actually a real lack of education for family caregivers. So I recommend always for them to reach out to the Alzheimer's Association, because they have a lot of educational programs that are free,
Right.
you know.
Right. This has been great, Tammy. The explanation about the fiblets and all that kind of stuff, and I really commend you for your passion and what you've done, and I appreciate what you do in education. If anybody wants to get some type of education or even have a conversation with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Either phone or email. I think email's probably best, and they can actually, behind me, you can see the website where they can go to the contact us page, or it's just Tammy at altalz.com for short, all dolls.
Right. That's good.
So
So no Pozerycki.
yeah, easy. And
Yeah.
can I say that you pronounced it really well? Most
Oh,
most
thank you.
people can't.
I've been practicing. Tammy
Uh,
Pozerycki, Alternatives in Alzheimer's Care. Thank you so much for coming on 5 minutes.
Thank you, John, for having me. I
And
appreciate it.
have a wonderful day.
Take care.